Things around here have gone from moving at what seemed like a snail's pace to suddenly moving at warp speed. We've been working hard and getting so many small projects knocked off the list to get us closer to the water. We're actually feeling like we might get back in the water this year, and I'm about to show you more of what that looks like. To start with, we finally finished the last of our spray foam job, which means that we can get a bunch more of the interior back together. Logan has continued to work on the plumbing system to get that all back together, and we finally got a chance to figure out if the water tanks need any new paint. But more about that later in the episode. I'm Taryn, this is Logan, and this is Max. Our life rarely goes as planned, and this story is no different. But we are determined to rebuild our beautiful steel boat, even stronger than she was before. And we're bringing you along with us. So you might remember, I don't know even how long ago was it now, a few months ago, we were trying to get everything ready in the bilges to repaint, and it turned out that we found a couple of holes, and we had to weld them. And the welds were right up against our newly painted water tanks. Because of how close those welds were to the water tanks, there's a potential that we actually burnt or delaminated some of the paint from inside the tanks. So those lids that were so nicely glued on have to come up, and we have to check inside the tanks to see what kind of damage was done to the paint. So we've got one lid up, I'm sitting on it right now, but today I'm going to take up the second lid. So fingers crossed that none of it was ruined, but the nice thing is too that we just bought some rubber to go in as gaskets so we don't have to glue the lids down. We're just gonna sandwich some rubber in between them that are airtight. So that means that we'll be able to easily check the tanks in every few months or whatever to make sure that we're not having rust issues. But before we can do any of that, I gotta get the tank lids up, and then we gotta get in there and see what the paint's looking like. Which sounds like it should be an easy job, but of course, nothing on a boat like this is easy, so I'm gonna get at it and try to get all of these bolts taken off. The toughest part of this job was prying the lid up because the glue that we had used was so good at its job. Is it called Sikaflex 1A?
1A.
Having a hard time?
Yeah, no way to get the knife in to cut the sealant.
The stuff that's on the side there.
This blade doesn't fit.
Yeah.
At least this one, like, you could get the knife in on an angle.
Right. Can you fit it on the other side? Just barely.
I can't get the blade in though. There's just not enough room for it.
Not a lot.
Yeah, it just doesn't, it won't let go.
have an issue. You can see there. We did have an issue. So Logan started grinding that spot right there and quickly found that the paint was kind of like a orangey brown color underneath, which means that it had burnt. But it's not a ton. As you can see, it's kind of a small spot. That's not bad. Over here, there's also a small spot, but that was just because Logan was worried there was an issue, but that's it. So we're gonna mix up some paint and put another coat on. I'm very excited to announce that we are finally at the point where we're starting to put the lids back on the water tanks for the second time. This is very exciting. This means that we've got the paint done inside. Anything that was burnt off when we fixed those holes has been repaired. So now we're going to use rubber gasket material as our seal instead of using that Sikaflex-like stuff. And that means that we're also going to be able to remove the lids one by one and check them for rust if we need to without worrying about having to re-glue them and deal with all that nonsense. This is very, very, very exciting because then we can also put the floor back in, which is a huge point. It's a huge issue walking across this uncomfortably because our flooring or sole is not in here, which means that things are uneven and dangerous. So yay, this is a very exciting day. With that done, it was back to the oh-so-fun job of trimming spray foam. Luckily, after months and months of praying to the gods to deliver us a boat work ferry, one finally showed up. How's it going?
It's going. Just get stuck behind those pieces.
Yep. So today we have an extra helper on the boat. It's Maya!
Hello! Helping on the boat.
How'd you get dragged into this one, Maya?
I've been semi-volunteering that I would help for a while. They come and pick me up from the ferry, I come and visit from Vancouver, and I guess my wishes were granted today. We're doing some foam removal, and so far I've been picking up foam off the ground and standing along the sidelines for moral support.
Yay!
Yep. That's about that. I'm feeling honored to be so useful.
She's also an amazing naturopath, so if you're in BC and in need of a naturopathic doctor, I highly recommend checking her out. I've added a link to her website in the description below. Getting the spray foam cut down was beyond exciting, just because it meant that we were able to put the settee back together, and I was over the moon excited about that. All the wood's in here now. That's so exciting. It's been a long time coming because I've had that ready to go for, I don't know, over a month, maybe even 2 months. And because we were waiting to spray foam, I didn't have the pieces in. But they're all in now. And that means that I can start putting these guys on, which are the pieces that go on the outside of the settee so that we can actually sit against it. These guys. So all I have to do is clean the edges up and then get those pieces up here and screw them in, and then the settee piece is all back together. And that's really exciting. got proper seating back. Yep. For whatever reason, despite all the projects that we do and have done, it's moments like this where we have living spaces that actually fit back together that feel like we might actually get the boat back in the water. Very exciting. It looks pretty good too, right? I think so. Pretend we have a table here and we can do stuff on it. Yeah. Awesome. With news of more boat ferries on the way, we decided it would be the perfect time to put non-skid on our decks. But like with all paint jobs, this meant that we were looking at a lot of prep work before we could put the paint on. But we will get more into that story in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching, and an extra shout out to Maya for her help. If you can't wait to see how things are developing in real time, we would love to have you on our Patreon for as little as $1 a month. See you next time.